G16 Sport, a new platform for Speedway fans. Hundreds of videos, the latest action on demand and free to view. Plus, the Speedway show, Dishing the Dirt. Check out the pay-per-view section for upcoming live streams. Browse Speedway merch and other awesome items in the online shop. Join G16 Nation. Scroll through your newsfeed, post photos and videos, join groups and connect with the Dirt community. Visit g16sports.co.nz today.
Welcome along, everyone. It is back again, another Wednesday. We proudly bring you the Cockpit Media Show. Reno Wilkinson, known online as Kinza, and my good friend who joins us, Craig Booker, the voice behind the live stream, the commentary that we bring you every Sunday. How are you, Books?
Oh, I'm good, mate. I'm doing really well. I hope our levels and sound is all good for everybody out there tonight. We've tried to tune ourselves on tandem this week, eh, mate? So, yeah, I'm not doing too bad. And yourself, everyone doesn't know, Monday was Reno's birthday, so we got to wish him a belated birthday from Monday.
Yeah, another young year in me, mate. I'm getting there ever closer to the gold card and the pension. Not quite, but I'm getting there, mate.
Finally turned 21.
Yeah, plus a lot of GST, mate, a heap of GST. Hey, but it's just another day when you get to my age, but I enjoy what I'm doing, and that's why I wasn't there racing. That you guys had a fun night in the Historics, I think it was, having a bash and a crash.
Yeah,
and you had some fun as well.
Yeah, I got to drive. I put a bit of a thing. I think a few people enjoyed watching the historic stock cars that we ran the other night. They're smashing and crashing into each other. That was real good. But Sunday night we had the latest round of our Garage 16 or G16 Sport E-Series of our Super Saloons, and that was another exciting racing. The racing in the first two races was unbelievable. The guys, it was close. It was fun. It was awesome, mate. Yeah, real awesome racing.
Yeah, one car stood out and amongst them all. They won 3 races. He got all the points you could think of when you win all the races and walked away with the title. That's the guy who's actually just made mention. My birthday and Shane Van Gisbergen are on the same day. Richie Nikota, MMJ. So congrats, Richie. Clean sweep and a well-deserved championship, mate.
He drove unbelievable, mate. He went 3 for 3, didn't he? Just outshined everybody on Sunday night, especially on a tight track and his home track, the Wellington track too, Timarua. He was humming. Which is exactly good. We got our guest is from the Timarua too tonight too, so that works in well, doesn't it?
Yeah, Richie doing it well there, at his home as well on the Wanganui tight track, good track. It's a good runoff actually between Steve Emmett, NZ, and Mark Eagle, Meter 1. So we finally had a good runner, but overall, bloody good night, considering that turn 1 and 2 is pretty sharp. And we got more racing. We're at the big track. We're up the north at Auckland this coming Sunday. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, hey, listen, I'd also just like to say to people that are tuning in right now, Garage 16, our main sponsors, our main supporters that back us all the time. We can't say enough about these guys. They've stood by our new Cockpit Media and our Cockpit Racing show like champions. They have organised another giveaway tonight for the best questions asked to Allen tonight. So get your questions ready, get them in. We have another prize pack to give away. Some of you might have noticed lately that we also have been adding NZ Dirt Track magazine to a lot of our logos and stuff. I've just put it up again. If you don't know, that's because Aaron and Vince now own Dirt Track magazine, so we support them. So we're adding them to give them coverage as well. So you get the prize pack tonight is actually a copy of the New Zealand Dirt Track magazine, and let me check my stuff here, Kins. I've got to see what Aaron sent me, and I think it was, so you get a copy of the magazine and a Garage 16 beanie as your prize pack tonight. So yeah, and we like to thank their support and them supporting the fans, and and all the drivers we've had on since we started too, mate. Their support's been fantastic as well.
Exactly. Actually, we put a bit of a call out to drivers, and I tell you what, we're going to be inundated. And I've got to say a big thank you to all of those drivers that we'd interview who made up the teams recently down there in Palmerston. They're all keen to jump on and talk with us in the weeks to come. Just talk about heading down towards that off season, what they got planned for the off season, what else keeps them busy, and looking forward to I said another season just around the corner. Just want to say a big hi this evening to Carl Carpendale, who's joined in, Shane Kinsey as well, Corbin Burke, Matt J as well, and to Tyson Wooten. Tyson, we're actually going to catch up with you, mates, and have a chat with you sometime real soon. Brad Wright, who's jumped on board as well. And it's just so cool. Dave Thomas, good to have you back there, Dave. Krusty, I see Krusty's racing, eh? So he's going to be back out on the
he's been racing
birds.
his historic in real life. So that's good. Yeah. Hey, listen, and we got some good shows coming up, people. We're hoping to talk to some track promoters as well to give you the insight of what they go through and what they do. And we want to talk to a lot of drivers about how their season's going and their off season, what they're going to do. So we look forward to doing that in the coming shows, and we're hoping we might even get the head man of Speedway New Zealand on too for a bit of a chat if we can catch up with him and let people talk to him as well. So we've got a lot coming up, guys, so keep tuned. But enough from me, I think, Kins. I think it's time to...
Just one more thing, Box, before you get out of here. You're going to see something that's going to look rather different on Wednesday, our next show. I'll keep it as a surprise, all right? So it's going to look rather different.
Yep.
We are working to develop what we bring you every Wednesday, and things will change a little. The show will still be here. It'll still be Wednesday, 7:30, but you'll notice the backgrounds will look a little bit different. So just keep in touch. Look, we want to get like flash followers, so we're getting there, mate.
We're going to be professional as with our new studio. I said too much. Hang on. Okay, mate.
Look forward to it.
Enjoy your show, and I'll talk at the end back with you. So let's get me out of here and bring Alan and the people that everyone's waiting to see. Hang on a minute, we'll see what I can do here.
Here he is. There's the man of the moment, the one and only Allen Levien. How you, mate?
Oh, mate, and yourself?
I can't complain. We were just doing a bit of a build-up. I tell you what, though, you have been one of the most popular people that since we caught up yesterday and said that we were going to talk to you, we had like 3,000 people just tacking it, wanting to watch and see you, mate. 3,000 fans, eh? How good's that?
Mate, it's a real. I thought I was only littering my own lunchbox better than anybody else's, so that's cool.
Hey, Alan, I know I just caught up with you yesterday, and you've jumped in to fill in the gap for today's show. I do thank you, and I appreciate your time. And I tell you what, you're a legend when you work with technology, mate. You got hooked up pretty well, just like that. So thank you for taking time out on your Wednesday to join us, eh?
No, that's sweet as, mate. I was only going to watch TV otherwise anyway.
What are you going to watch? What do you normally watch on a Wednesday?
Oh, shit. Whatever's on, I can just sit there and I can play cards and I can just watch the TV go by.
Oh, mean is. Hey, Alan, I suppose the obvious question that everyone who's jumped on board, and they always seem to ask this question, and it takes it right back to your early years. How the hell did you get involved or introduced to Speedway?
Oh, geez. Well, I suppose I was on the West Coast in the South Island, and my family's from down that way. I even went out to, in the earlier days, out to Kamara, where the first stock car track was out for the West Coast.
Yeah.
They used to race around some drums in a cockey's paddock, I think. And then I ended up meeting up with a guy, good mates, the guy by the name of Shane Smith, that used to race modifieds out of Greymouth back in the days with Lindsay Hughes and all those sort of boys.
Yeah.
And on one drunken summer's time, there was a big speedway event in Blenheim. And so we'll go and watch that. So we jumped in my escort van and we tore up there with a box of piss beside us. And that was the year that the Poms came out here and raced with the 501 and bits and pieces of the Blenheim track. So that was my first real introduction into real speedway. And then a few years later, I ended up moving up this way. And a good friend of mine, Tony Burkett, that now lives over, old Bones Burkett, that lives in the UK. I sort of moved in with them, living over the valley. And he was like, took me to Speedway, and then it was like, yeah, we got to do this. And I had some ACC money there that I needed to buy something with. So we went and bought a stock car off a guy by the name of Daryl Stevens, Winky. And it came, it was yellow, it was number 46, and that's where it all started.
So you've had that number 46 since that day one then, I'm guessing?
Yep, probably since about 87, 88.
Wow. Mate,
So,
you're a
yeah.
legend within yourself, mate. The 46 is a legend number. How?
Yeah. Never been a superly lucky number, but I must admit Keegan's had more luck with it than I ever did.
Yeah, so obviously we're going to talk about the family and the boys and how that's been going, you know, how obviously they got introduced to it through yourself. So what was your first car, stock car, and tell us all about that.
Stock car, it was a McPhee flat chassis. So I think when Brian and Keith McPhee used to race, they had themselves a couple of cars they built with the things that stand out had a D-Series 4.6 engine in it, an LT3 Morris commercial diff, and a front transverse spring, and Ford wide body, and that was, if I knew all the things I know now, I'd probably still have that car, but I managed to wreck that pretty quickly because I knew absolutely nothing.
So what was your knowledge around all of this? Look, you just bumped into a couple of mates, you jumped into your escort, and off you went to the track. Do you have a background in engineering or motorsports? What's your background in it?
I'm a diesel mechanic by trade.
Okay.
Not that I sort of want to do it these days, and I just love tinkering with engines and cars and stuff. The old man even says that I used to pull all his lawnmowers to bits, and then he'd be stuffed, and he'd have to take it back to the lawnmower man because he has no idea about anything mechanical. I've just loved tinkering with engines and shit all my life.
Yeah, you just like bloody tootsing when things break it, and sometimes you'll see the odd nut or bolt floating around, think, oh hell, where the hell did that bloody thing go back into? And you can't remember.
Yeah. Hey, just while we're getting going, Sue's given me this hoodie. So it's one of our new bits of merchandise. It's sitting over there. You guys can pick somebody, and you can email me their address or whatever. We can send it out to somebody who who comes up with something good. I don't know. There's a hoodie there to give away.
Thank you, Sue. Where is Sue? Is she handy?
She'll be just outside. No, I think she's gone over to my daughter's house so she can watch it over there and not annoy me.
Yeah, so she doesn't, so I don't get her on the camera. I was going to say, tell her to come in. I would say thank you. Alan, thank you for that. Really appreciate that. And the team down there as well, thank you. And just like the boys at Garage 16, you keep the comments coming in. We got a special prize back with the Dirt Track magazine and so forth as well. So plenty going on there. Thank you. I do thank you for that. So stock car back in the days, the 80s, and how long did you do all that?
For quite a while. It was actually quite funny. My very first meeting I ever did was at Palmerston North. We got rained out here, and so a friend of mine, I had no license at the time. I'd been in a little bit of mischief, and so we loaded on the back of me mate Boney's trailer, and off we go to Palmerston North. Never raced before, had no idea, basically, and I think safety was optional back then. Yeah. And get to the track, and the guy says, "Oh, your first meeting?" He says, "Oh, well, you're not going to win any races here, but we pay $100 a roll, mate. So see how many you can roll." So that was my first ever racing. So I was at in Palmerston North, and then obviously we came back here and ran a few meetings and other bits and pieces, and just sort of tinkered along for all those years. I would have been about 20, 21 at that stage, I suppose.
Wow. So how many rollovers did you do? How much $100 did you get?
No, I wouldn't have got anything. Actually. I don't even remember the race, to be perfectly honest. I just remember that guy's comment, and I don't even know if I finished any races. I can't remember.
Yeah, wicked. Hey, Adam Munro, thanks for jumping in, mate. Good to have you back on board and watching. Sean Kingy, DK, hope things are all going well with you, my friend. Paul Mason, thanks. Luke White, who's joined in as well. So all the bros are jumping in there. Andrew Campbell, what's the best event you've celebrated in any injuries from the celebrations? Andrew Campbell, I'll hit you with that one first there.
So the best, I thought about this one. I thought I might get this question today, and I really do toss up between. I think back now, and probably we should have celebrated harder when the young guns first won the stock car teams at Bay Park. That in a memory, and the way that we went through and we won that. But back then it probably wasn't as prestigious as what it is now to win it. That coinciding with probably my boys actually, and maybe the most humbling was the night that. It's either when they both got 1-2 at Kiki for the North Islands, which I thought myself that was pretty cool to have both your boys on the podium, or maybe in their case, actually the year that they won teams at Stratford. So it's a toss up between those things. And in terms of injuries, well, I suppose you can either talk Speedway Injuries, which is obviously had a small non-eye at Palmies and broke some ribs, or I don't know, post talking about maybe young guns get together barbecue followed by in town jumping off a stage and splitting my femur. He could be talking about that sort of thing. I'm
Holy
not too sure.
hell, mate. Mate,
Hey,
I tell you what, you've been in the bloody wars on and off the track. But I tell you what, thank you for sharing that with us as well. Hey, don't forget to keep these questions coming in. We've got an awesome hoodie to give away, thanks to the Levine family as well. And also, don't forget to Garage 16. Just keep the questions coming in as well. You know, Brad Wright already said I need to win that. He's got a cold head at the moment. Hey, I will see how things going. The Legend 717A is on board. Yeah, Andrew Drudden's picked that one up at the moment as well. Who's the better?
Big Block?
No, wait for Big
No,
Block.
the hoodie won't fit Big Block. Sorry, Big Block, you miss out.
Hey, Ben Austin. Ben Austin's popped up here. Who's the better driver? I'm going to put you right on the spot with your boys here. Keegan, Ethan, or yourself?
Oh, I don't rate myself as a driver. I'm too old school. I'm down the old flatty days, down the straight and chuck and bury your foot in it and hope the V8 pulls you around the corner. Both the boys are very different, very tactfully different in their own ways. Keegan, if it comes to it, he can go out there and he can win a race. But Ethan is so talented in terms of he can determine who's going to win the race. But then when he puts his head to it, he can actually race as well, So I think probably if I'd been given a mini stock, had all the opportunities, I reckon I would have more of Ethan's driving style. But Keegan's patient and tactful.
Okay.
But they both have that passion to want to win. They've got that drive, that hunger, that when they come back in, if they know they've had a bad race or somebody's pissed them off, I've actually got to stand there and calm them down before they get out.
I remember catching up because I think you were the last guest when we did the teens build up a few weeks back, talking on behalf of the Wellington Wildcats. And I just want to get into a sim side of things here because Cockpit Media and Cockpit Online, we're an online sim community and we stream live on this page actually every Sunday night, build up at 8:15 doing the E-Series Super Saloon Series, thanks to Garage 16. But I remember you saying a comment about the online side of things, teams and learning all about teams, how the boys have learnt with this whole online sim race. And I remember you talking about that, just some of the things that some of these new drivers are into these days, this whole digital world of online racing, and it kind of helped the boys out with teams and everything.
Oh, I reckon. Then the number of times on a Sunday we'd have to be rushing home from somewhere because they both had online racing with different teams and all that sort of stuff. It's not my cup of tea, as you'd see when we're trying to log in tonight. But but then what they can do and what you can learn, and I suppose it's quite cool because when you push reset, as I said earlier, they push reset, we just push start a new week. In the shed you go for the week, So it's but yeah, I do think that as I said back then too, you look at all the guys doing the V8 supercars, all the F1s, if they're not racing the real thing, well, then what are they doing? They're sitting in their simulators, women, learning the tracks, learning everything,
Exactly. You take a good at the recent F1, not the one in Miami, but the one before that, Melbourne. There's a whole new setup, and the guys, obviously, during these COVID times, couldn't get over there, so they had to jump in there, learn all the sim, learn the new tracks. You are right. You're 100% right. There's all sorts of E-Series that's been up and about for the past couple of years. It's just so huge at the moment. Chris Elwell, I think it was. Is that the right name? Chris Elwell was in the 501. Is that right?
I think he's one of them. Yeah. Chris, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Camo Jar, is that right? Hey, mate. Hey, good to have you on board. Jason Anderton's joined us as well. Jason, mate. Jason Anderton. Hey, Big Al.
Mate.
Yeah. When are you going to get Keegan to set you up with an RC stock car and come and show him how to do it?
No.
Show him up, mate. Show him up. You're not going to do it?
No. It doesn't float my boat. Like, if there's no pain, then it's not real.
Oh, you're a bloody hard man. You're a hard man.
No, it's not me.
All right. What I think with this is you, and it comes from a good mate of ours, and we are going to catch up with them very soon. Harley Robb. Harley's ass, mate. You could imagine Harley, and everyone's laughed. Give that mullet a flick for me. There you go, Harley. Just for you, my friend. See, he's the man, right?
When we did check with Harley, did you manage to get Malcolm to pay for your ferry crossing for this weekend or what?
There you go, Harley.
Coming up with Wellington Chaps, Harley, or what?
Yeah, let's talk about that, champs. Tell us more about it, Alan. Wellington champs, tell us all about that. How's that all unfolding? What's the deal there, mate? Give it a big promotion. Give it a big drive.
Well, I'd let you know, like we've probably about 15 or 16 cars at the moment. It's pretty difficult when both Palmy and Hawke's Bay are running. And then we've got the, good mate Randy T and the boys from the Hawke's Bay that we all follow and look after, as well. They've all got their Auckland champs on this weekend. So, we're sort of a bit difficult, but we're running out of weekends. Like this is our last one to run. So we've got 16 clubs, cars. I think Alex Bright's coming up from Nelson. At Jaden Ward's coming all the way from Christchurch. So I think got old Clive Elliott's coming along for a skid. He's supporting his original home track. Maybe he might be able to replicate what he did in 1968 when he won it. So, majority of our own cars plus 3 or 4. I think Brendan Ties are racing here because his daughter's racing the stock car. So I think we've got 15 or 16 cars. Be nice to get another 4 or so, but when you've got your surrounding tracks racing at the same time, it's pretty hard to get everybody to come. So it'll be a good night, and someone will be given that title of Wellington Superstock champ. Hopefully it's sort of got a bit of an orange background on its writing and stuff. So it's one of our cars. It'd be nice.
Man, I'm pretty sure the orange background looking car got like 10 grand a little while ago, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. He got 10 grand. Yep.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Sorry, I got 10 grand.
Yeah, you got 10 grand. Shane Kinsey says, mate, I have a lawnmower that needs looking at, so you let the catch up with Shane.
Shane helps us. He crews for us. He's bloody complaining about his lawnmower all the
time. Tina Actually, Craig Booker we spoke before, he's one of those lawnmower mechanics. So send a message in, mate, Shane, and see what we can do if Alan's too busy. You are right, Luke. Luke Wyatt, he is a champ. And he's just full of joy. He's great to talk to. He's a great entertainer as well, on and end of the track. And he's passionate about his family and Speedway and the Superstocks. And you made mention of a Thai family as well. Isn't it just great to see the families out there doing it? And sons, daughters, the mini stock class has just been a massive attribute to Speedway, a growing class for youngsters, get used to it. It's a whole family thing, eh?
Oh, it's fantastic. On a Saturday night these days, we go racing. I've got my kids, I've got my grandkids, I've got, and we're all up there as a family. And instead of, I think that's what it's about. And then after a while, once you've met so many different people, they become part of your family. And I heard you mention Tina Chatfield there before. And I was only up at their place in the weekend. I went and helped my grandson. He had to go and race at Kiki in the mini stocks, and his other grandfather couldn't take him because Rosie had COVID. So I jumped in my wagon and shot up there and took Noah to Kiki, and then went through to Auckland and got hold of Chatty and said, I need a bed, and going to have one night with him, but I picked up my new golf cart and then we went fishing. So that was Sunday taken care of, and had some nice snapper and gurnard and come home on Monday.
I'm pretty sure when we last caught up as well a couple of weeks back, you're talking about bloody fishing. So what does Allen Levien do for kicks and shits and giggles and stuff, aside from Speedway, when you're not doing the Speedway thing, chasing up to the family or friends and whatnot? What do you do with yourself? What does Allen Levien do?
He goes to the shed and fixes the boys' cars.
Nah. Aside. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that you get up to? Anything else you do in the past?
I love fishing. We've got a property up Waikawa, which is halfway between Levine and Otaki, and go up there with the wife and the dogs and the kids when they can, and friends, and just sit around and go down the beach, put the contact gear, get some snapper, and then just have a few drinks and socialise. The wife loves to travel, so she likes organising holidays to go overseas and that when we can. So we've got our first one in a couple of weeks. We're going to Raro. So
wow.
But half the problem, we live at work. So if I'm at work, I might not be physically working, but my mind is still looking at what's going on here. So for us to enjoy things, we need to get out of this place.
Awesome, mate. I love what you're saying. Ross Ashby, horse, everyone knows horse. Ask Al if he will jump in any race at any stage. Will you, mate? Will you jump in a race?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I can still walk. I can still climb in a car. I'll still get in a car.
There you go, horse. What are you offering, horse, or what the deals? Would you get in now, race with the other cars now?
And then the other stock cars and stuff?
Yeah. Would you reckon you'd do it?
I still want to, yeah. Oh, look, we had the Wellington champs up home the other week, and there was time for the final, and there was a few Palmy cars that were up there, and for the first time in a while, I'm like, man, I wish we had the stock car here. I'd be jumping in that now. I wish I was doing it. So the plan is there is a plan for an exit. So we're waiting for the New Zealand stock car champs here in Wellington. The boys will have their 2 new stock cars up and running. I'll have my old girl going, and all 3 of us will do the New Zealands here in Wellington, and that'll be my out.
Pretty well answer one of the questions. It just actually popped up there, and I've seen it right at the bottom there. So look, I'm not ignoring you or being rude during this. I'm just looking at the questions that are floating up and down on my phone here. So there's heads going on. Look, you better get into the details. There are some awesome looking photos sitting behind your mullet. Tell us about the drawing first, the drawing that's just right behind you that your lovely wife put there to show. Tell us about that drawing.
I tell you what, Keegan's going to have us both. We'll be gone, mate. That is when we went over to the World Final a few years ago, both the boys had a drive at the World Final. They didn't get the race in the World Final, but we hired a couple of cars and they got to go out there and have a skid. Anyway, we were down in we're up in Soho, I think we were, and wandering around. And there's an artist in the middle there, and he's doing sketches.
Yeah.
And we said, let's get some of these. And so that's what he sketched up. That was his impressions of what Keegan looks like as a sketched up drawing. We got it all framed, but for some reason Keegan said he's not taking it home and he doesn't like it. And don't let anybody else see it. No one's allowed to look at it. So that's that one. And then the other 2. This is quite bad. There is a young lady that follows us everywhere. She's at Rotorua. She's even been down here to Wellington to the shootout, and she just loves following our family and our boys, and even Lexi and her cars. And she's drawn all those. We've got pictures that she's done, and that might have been the first one she's done. We've got some on the other walls of them in their team colours. And this year she even drew some of Renee's cars with Lexi's and Jared's cars. And she's just she's a lovely lady that just loves following the Speedway and just loves supporting our family. So, and it's really bad. I'm just having serious brain fade, and her name has eluded me, and I'm so sorry. I apologise to her.
Okay, look, that's fine, because what I'm gathering out of all of this, Speedway is your life. I can tell it's your life. The way people are giving back to you, doesn't matter if Keegan doesn't like that picture or not. It's just what you enjoy, and I can see the smile on your face there. But also the young lady, you can't remember who drew those pictures. It's your life, eh? Speedway is your life, and people just give generously to you. And you know what it is and why it is? It's because you're a bloody genuine guy, and you're fun, and you laughter, and you just take it as it comes, eh? You just want to get out there and enjoy it, and that's the key to it, is enjoying it.
It's a passion, and
yeah.
We had one of our top 10 conferences not long ago, and we had this guy that came and he sat there and he spoke to us all about different bits and pieces and aspects of life, and he talked about different styles of adrenaline and what you're doing. And he reckons that your natural adrenaline is made up of, he reckons it's cocaine, heroin, and marijuana all injected into you at the same time as what your humanly made adrenaline is. So if you want to have a crack on all those 3 drugs, which I don't recommend, but you don't need to, because your adrenaline gives you the exact same buzz that those 3 things will give you at the same time.
Oh, totally, 100% right, mate. I used to get a buzz just smelling the fumes and listening to the roar of the cars at the track back in the day. You made mention of the New Zealand stock car side of things at Bay Park. Did you ever race? You must have raced at the old Bay Park?
Yes, I raced on the old Bay Park. Yep, we went up there. Yeah, we went up there years ago when they used to run that teams event over Christmas. And
Farmer Jones, Butchers? The Butchers,
yeah,
Farmer Jones?
What it used to call, they used to have that one over Christmas, around that Christmas New Year period. And a mate of mine got invited into the invitation team. And so he raced the first night on the invitation team. And then we got a heap of damage. And he said to me, if you fix the car, you can race the second night. So
Just
I fixed it and went and raced the second night.
Wicked. Carl Carpendale. Carl's been watching the show since the start, since we clicked over at 7:30. Let's put Big L in the TQ for a night. Are you offering? Carl might be one. He'll have a go at any bloody thing. Noah Brighton, you are the best bus driver ever.
That's Noah Britton, I reckon it is. That's my grandson.
Britton. Yeah.
So that's the grandson. So that's why I got this shirt on. The kids gave me. I don't know if you can see it from behind.
Oh, look at that bus driver. The official bus driver, eh?
Yep, that's what Keegan and Lexi gave me for Christmas.
Wicked, wicked. So there you go, Noah Britton. There you go. That's the big juice there. And I know I met one of the young guys when I was with the Wildcats down at the teams recently. They were showing me a photo of your speedo, mate. So you're giving it, eh?
Oh yeah, we were in a hurry. We were a bit of a hurry. I think after we'd done the 240s, and I think so Lexi had raced the 2 nights there, and then Wanganui was running on the Sunday. And so Keegan decided, I think Cindy had just announced that we're probably going to go back into lockdown again. That'll be the end of Speedway. So we went like the clappers to get to Wanganui, so Lexi could do 3 nights of racing in a row. So that was the bus getting through, and Shane took a video of the Speedo. So yeah.
Yeah. Nah, wicked, all right. Hey, Jeff Krusty McConey, who races with us, you ever thought of jumping in one of the classic cars? Oh, Krusty does. He drives one of the classics, 15,
Put it
8
this
to
way,
15.
when we were at Kiki, I wandered along and I spoke to there was Jack, and then there was Gary Smith, and there was a few others that I know. On Drabs was all heading out there in those cars, and
yes,
it sort of does interest me. But at the moment, while the boys are racing and there's 7 cars in my shed, there's no room for one.
Wow. 7 cars in the shed, no room for another. You know, when we talk about all the cars and the racing and stuff, and I seem to ask this to a lot of drivers in our early cockpit media shows, we talked about the impact of COVID. As such, you know, they're pretty well stopped bloody everything. Auntie Cindy, once they made that announcement, motorsport came to a bit of a standstill as we know it here in our country, especially for Speedway. This is how, and one of the reasons our show started was to recognize and talk to those drivers to find out a bit about them individually, but also to recognize people who invest so much, whether they are sponsors, because these drivers weren't getting their vehicles out on the track, whatever track there may be in the country. That's one of the reasons how the show kind of started. It was just to have a chat with them, find out all about them, but also to give the recognition, because we would have the sponsors going across, and some of these guys, but not actually joined us online. So how did COVID, what was the impact on COVID really for you?
Well, actually, especially this year, I've really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I've enjoyed it because obviously we've been doing it for so many years now that it's just nice sometimes to have a bit of a break, and to it's like catch-22. Like you'd have a couple of 3 or 4 weekends off, and it's like that was so cool. And then it's like an opportunity would come to go racing, so it's like, oh shit, let's get the cars ready, let's go. It was so exciting. And then it's like, oh yeah, no, we don't have to, So it's and on one hand, it's been good because it's stopped a lot of burnout. Otherwise, we can do like 10,000 Ks in our bus in a season. By the time you go to the battle, you might do a trip to Auckland and a couple of trips to the Bay and Palmy and here and there. 10,000 Ks clocks up really quickly. I think I've struggled to do 4,000 this year, but in some ways it's actually been slightly refreshing to actually just have a non-stressful, didn't really have to be anywhere sort of season.
Yeah.
So, I think we've been going, I reckon, well, probably close to between maybe 18 and 20 years sort of solid. This is the first year probably in over 20 years I haven't bought a license, Sure. So it'd be the first year I don't actually get in a car and have a skid. So I was hoping that Ethan didn't want to do the Wellington Champs last weekend, then I would have done it, but he was keen to do it too. So yeah.
Good on you, mate. Good on you.
In some ways it's been good. There's no big panic about trying to do national championships. There's no big panic about getting the cars going. It is difficult for your sponsors. It is difficult for everybody. But I think in some ways, some people have got a bit of money and some people haven't, So it's nice just not have that pressure to have to be anywhere.
Mate, and the way the price of petrol is going up these days has most probably been a blessing in some way as well. Hey, Scott Honeybone, always good to have you on board watching the show week in and week out. Scott, Jason Stevens, the legend himself. It's good to see you. Jay Stevens saying that to you, my friend. Mike Pugh, how are you, mate? So heaps going on. All right, Aaron Lewis, Garrett 16, who has given us an amazing prize. Mate, he's asking you to drive the modified. Because Aaron's got a modifier now. What do you reckon? Yeah,
it's as long as he's prepared to pick up the tab, because hey, the beauty about a stock car is when you hit the wall, it's not going to cost you a couple of thousand a corner.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Steve Keeling's jumped on. Good to have you here, Steve. Just go through some of the hits back in the times. I know you talked about injuries. What's one of your biggest hits you ever taken in your stock car or in the super? Can you remember? I suppose you knocked out that time, and you told me.
No, to be perfectly honest, no. Probably the best one, one of the ones that stand out most in my mind was A year we went and did. They put 10 grand up for grabs at the New Bay Park track for the stock cars. Would have been just a few years after the Young Guns had won it while we were defending. And we went up there one Easter. And I remember blocking and like I always did in the old flatty back in those days. And I remember being 3/4 of the way down the back straight. And I knew Peter Church was leading, and I looked at my back mirror, and there was Churchy coming, and all I could do was float the old flatty out into the middle of the track, and I just hung onto the steering wheel and cringed, and he should have gone round me because I wouldn't have been able to get to him because it's so bloody wide up there, but he just tubed me straight up the arse, and holy shit, did that hurt. My feet and arms just flew everywhere, but I managed to hang on to him for about a lap.
Yeah.
And then I think I no longer have I got my breath back, and he'd got past me. And the same thing happened on the back straight again, and I managed to suck him on in the same spot for the same amount of pain. But as I sucked him on this time, our lead car went past, so it was the pain suddenly vanished.
Good to see the lead car.
That would be some of the more painful hits that I'd had, basically. But you had no choice, at the end of the straight, you don't want to be waiting. But if there's 10 grand up for grabs, of course you're going to wait.
Yeah, you're going to wait for it. Look, there's a couple of people who love the flat chassis. Richie D. Corder as well, Flatties for life. Shane Hawkins, you'll know young Shane.
That was his old man's car, mate.
Yeah,
that was my flatty that I had back then. So, and that's just been restored back to a classic. It's up in Stratford now.
Nice. You catch up with Eddie at all? Eddie Hawkins, you catch up at all? Have a bit of a catch up?
Every now and again, he's only up the road from me. He's only in Waioni Street. So if I need bits and pieces for some of the work vehicles, I'll always call in and see Eddie for an adder.
Mm-hmm. Shane Kinsey says, mate, you got to bring back the Mo. Yeah, come on, you got to bring it back. Bring back the Mo.
Oh, Movember then, maybe, hey? Movember.
See what happens, mate. Maru, Goodley, good to have you. Good to have you back on board, mate. Hut Park, sort it. I'll be there. Harley Rob, mate. You said to Harley, come up. Hut Park. Gonna sort it, he'll be there. He'll be there.
Struggle to get a ferry crossing now.
Yeah, I'd say so. Shane Kinsey says, if there was no speedo, what you'd be doing, I would guess, mate. You'd be out fishing. You love your fishing.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome to have all these questions. Keep these questions coming in because we've got a couple of prizes. Thanks to Levine, we've got an awesome hoodie there just by Allen. Do you want to grab that hoodie again, please, mate? Just show all the viewers. There you go. How cool is that? Look, you can grab that hoodie. So keep those questions coming. What size is that, mate? Can you just have a look inside? So we'll see how we go.
I think the wife said it's a large.
Large, there we go, large hoodie there. And thanks to Garage 16 as well, Dirt Track Magazine and Aaron and Vince, awesome guys at Garage 16. Great holiday park to stay at too as well. Yeah, Dave, you're right, 100% right. Jay Stevens is right. Fishing. Alex Hill, here's a few more. Oh, fish curry, mate. You like fish curry?
Thai green curry, man, with the old snapper in it. Hey, got to put the 21-pounder into a nice big thick curry to soften him up.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, there's just so many questions. You keep these questions coming in, everyone. And there is a prize, which we'll make the announcement towards the end of the show at the moment. Mate, stock cars, you talked about that, your early 80s, way down on the, I think it was the West Coast or something like that. You come up to Wellington, and then you meet your lovely lady, I would guess, and then the family, then into Speedway at Wellington track.
Yeah, well, I already had two girls. I actually, back in the day, Ron Ty and I were really good mates, and Ron used to live at my place with me. Okay. So him and I go back a long way with the Ties, and then I had two girls, and then that relationship broke up, and then I suppose I met Sue, and I suppose she lived in Hamilton, and I suppose it was meant to be, and we've been together now 22, 23, I think 24 years probably. I'll get in trouble or something. So, we've been married for 22, 23 years now. Awesome. So, and we've got, between us, we've got 8 kids and 13 grandkids.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And it goes right back to what I talked about, the family side of things. Look, we know the 46W. We see it out there on the track doing the individual race. I'm going to ask you a pretty good question there. Individual stuff or teams? I know you've done both. What do you prefer? What do you really like?
Me? Because I am not someone that gets the flag very often and never got to win many races, I enjoyed teams racing, doing something together. I find it's got the most pressure on it because, if it's individual, you're only letting yourself and your crew down. Or if you're teams racing, you're letting everybody down. So, and the fact that you can still be a winner even though basically, because you did all the hard work, and the glory boys, as we refer to them, the backs and the forwards. You've got the backs are the pretty boys with the nice looking hair. They're the ones that go and win the races, and the forwards are the ones that are up the back doing all the hard graft, and people don't even know what they look like because they're only watching the heroes up the front. So I refer to your team's races as your blockers, and your races as like a rugby pack, your backs and your forwards.
Wicked,
So
mate.
Team's racing for me.
Okay, so you got the pretty hair. So what was the deal there? So were you going hard out
No. If you go back, when I was 20, I had a nice big long mullet down my back and everything, and I just decided I wanted to grow this again because because the wife keeps telling me I'm going bald, so she keeps telling me I'm going bald. I'm going to keep growing hair. And see, I'm not going bald. I still got some hair.
Yeah, no, you got plenty of it there, mate. Shane Hawkins made mention earlier on. You catch up with his dad, Eddie. He says it'd be nice to see him back in the tank, eh? Back in the tank.
Yeah, and a cheese grater. I know about that.
Would you ever jump back in the tank and have a bit of a spin? I suppose
I've never had a cheese grater. I have the only cheese grater I've ever driven was the one that Josh Kahui used to have.
Oh, yes,
I think I drove that once in Wanganui. Not a fan. It's like driving a picnic table. The front of it's bouncing in front of you like this.
Oh, look, we had Ross Ashby watching, mate. Oh, he might have given you a bit of a spin. We'll see what happens when you take a look. There's not many tanks out there these days, and he's still soldiering on with his tank. Andrew Campbell, if you had a chance to try any other class besides super stocks or stock cars, what class would that be?
What would it be? I reckon it'd have to be I reckon a sprint car just for the sheer buzz, but I'd have to have someone driving it for me because I reckon I'd put it in the wall in the first corner. But just for the sheer speed, just to see what that adrenaline's about in the speed, I think that would be the go. So,
not a super salute or something like that?
No. I was going to say production saloon because at least if I put it in the wall, it wouldn't be a lot of money out the window.
Yeah. I see a super stock driver just recently has got a super saloon he's going to race. So
I did see that one. Yes, I heard that tonight. Peter Bengston.
Yeah, he's going to have a go.
So that's where that stealth has gone, eh?
Yeah, maybe where it's gone.
Something up the other day.
Yeah, it's all good. Oh, look, your son had to drop in there, Keegan. He had to drop in there because when are you retiring? And everyone's just having a good bloody laugh.
He knows when I'm retiring. He knows the deal. I told him what the deal is. 3 stock cars, New Zealand champs, Wellington.
Awesome. Oh, how? Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Now I know. Okay. Shane was Shane, I know who you're talking about now when it comes to that video and so forth. So plenty going on there. Look, there's just so many good questions coming up. You keep these questions rolling on in and we'll get a winner thanks to Garage 16. So plenty going on there. Heaps going on. Just going through some of these questions. Yes, everyone's talking about Binkston now all of a sudden.
That's why he's got to sell the bus. Obviously, the saloon car doesn't fit in the back of it.
No, exactly, mate. So what's left of the season? What's happening with the motorsport team? What's going on? Is it how many more races, or this is it coming up?
So I was thinking that this weekend was our last weekend, but now Ethan, who's the one that can take or leave for Speedway at the moment, says to me the other day, "You reckon we should go do the Autumn Nationals at Hawke's Bay?" And I went, "Well, you're keen, I'm keen, so we'll do one more. We'll go to all going well. We'll go to Hawke's Bay next weekend and have a crack at the Autumn Nationals." So, and then obviously on the Tuesday after that, I'm off to Raro. So that's me done.
All right, mate. While you're in the Hawke's Bay, I think because Craig Booker's just mentioned to me as well, if you're in the Hawke's Bay, go around to his place, jump on a sim, mate. You can have a bit of a jam, actually. I know your boys will be into it. The boys will be right into it. Oh, wicked. What happened to the back of your new Ram, Keegan asks?
I have no idea. I'll just tell him it's too soon to even talk about it.
Oh, there you go, mate. Too soon. There you go. There you go.
So, and the other one is and then Keegan's talking about maybe doing the 248s.
Yeah.
But it depends. It might clash with an RC meeting. So he thinks he doesn't know if he go RC racing or superstock racing.
Wicked. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Look, we all knew what happened down in Palmy. So everyone at the moment on the Facebook, everyone's seen the latest update from the Robertson Prestige Robertson Holden Speedway Facebook page. There's going to be details on what's happening with their night. Next week, you'll find out the information, what's going to unfold there as well. So just keep an eye. No doubt it'll just go wildfire once they release information around all of that type of stuff. So just keep an eye on that. Mate, your racing career has just been outstanding. The 46W, when you think all the racing done. So you did your stock cars. What year or kind of time did you get into the next grade? Would have been the A grades, I would guess, back in the days. I guess in 90s.
So I suppose the first time I had a super, was it 95, 96? Yeah. I got myself a super when we had the New Zealand Superstock Champs here in Wellington.
Yeah.
So I suppose they were still, there was no really around at that stage. We were all just stock cars. So I got myself a new car for the New Zealand Champs when they were here in Wellington, and then I did those, and then I think Keegan was born the year after, and money started to get a little bit tight. Mm-hmm. So I put the stock car in the shed and cut the back bumper off because I knew I couldn't afford to buy the steel for it, and that would stop me from racing it. And then I suppose I didn't race for about 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. We ventured down to the holiday park here, where we've been now for the last 25 years, and then an opportunity arose to get that flat chassis off Wayne Richards, which is Eddie Hawkins' old car.
Yes, yes.
And a mate of mine, we cut the deal with Wayne, and it cost us $25 each. and we went and got the car. So Wayne wanted, his missus' car had a blown head gasket, and Mark, my mate Mark, he worked for Kerry Lindsay. He used to build me engines and shit for me. So all he wanted was the head gasket fixed on his missus' car, and so it cost us $25 each for a headset and for Mark to do what he had to do to the head at work. And so we got that as a roller. Oh no, it wasn't a roller. It was just a front suspension, radiator, maybe a body. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then I managed to pick up a little 221 off another mate, and then Mark sort of pulled that to bits and fixed it up, and we built a diff and bits and pieces, and got that up and running and never really looked back. So that's
that was the 91. Was that the 91W back then? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yep. So the flat chassis, which was Eddie Hawkins' car.
Yeah.
So Eddie had it with the Ford in it, and then Wayne bought it. He put his Holden in it, and then I bought it and put a Ford back in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that car being part of the Wellington Wildcats team back in the day.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah. So I think I debuted that the second year that the stock cars were an official class. So I think the first year they were run at Rotorua.
Yeah.
And that's when one of the Rawadi, I think, the Rawadi boys podiumed, I think, that year in Rotorua. And then the next year they were in Palmerston North. And I had it running for that year. And I've literally raced every season since then.
All right. Since that car, you moved into, I guess, another chassis. What was your following chassis after that? What did you move into from there?
I built that. I built my Tony Mac chassis. So
yes.
I went to Tony Mac and I said I want to build a car the same as the one that Ian King won. Got second at the New Zealand Champs with in '86. Oh no, '96. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which was Kingy's car, still floating around now. Which is still a T-Mac chassis, but it was probably more down the middle. And Tony said, no, this is where you need to go. And he says, I've upgraded the plans for the Silver Bullet. These are the new plans. Here they are. And so we spent, I think it took me like 2.5 years and a lot of help from a lot of friends, and we built that. And and I've still got that car now. So that car it's in its 16th season now.
Wow.
So it's having its first year off. This is the first year in 16 years it hasn't been raced.
Wow, so, when you think of, I remember that 96 night being down there in Wellington. We travelled all the way through to watch the finals that night, and hell, that was a long, bloody night, It
was, you're right. Yeah, I think the runoff, the three-way run, the two-car runoff, I think didn't finish till after midnight.
No, that's right. Kerman Lace, Ian King, I think Darren Gray, Cleese for Wellington next year got third. Yep. That was a hell of a long night, But hey, it was an entertaining night, and it was a bloody good night at that as well. And when you think all Wellington cars, 1, 2, 3, and when you think the likes too of those three drivers in particular who went through to represent Wellington in their own right at the teams with Tony Mack and many others. Paul Boza, is that his name? Paul
Boza was another one. Yeah, I remember that year we went to Teams Nationals, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the numbers on the cars. I think we took Brian McPhee might have changed his number to 4, and so that gave us all those guys, and so we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the cars that went up there. Tony Mack was 5.
Dave Thomas just asked a quick question. What about Palmy? Are you thinking about Palmy over Queen's birthday weekend? Because Palmy's running through to June. Maybe.
Mate,
See what
it's
happens.
bloody- It's just winter. We should be at home watching rugby, not racing Speedway.
Oh, wicked.
It's my birthday that weekend, and I'll be in Raro where it's nice and warm.
Right, exactly. And over there, Adam Munro, is the mechanical and engineering innovation of stock cars, super stocks, as high as in any other grades, like the Stealth we made mention earlier on with saloons? Do you think all the technology around all of that, the mechanics engineering is right up there now with some of these other classes?
Oh, I think obviously I'm probably a little, I don't know, naive of what's happening, say, in the other classes. But if you look what like Osborne's got going with between his boy and his car,
Yeah.
between the saloon and the super saloon, I think their technology is unreal.
Yeah, totally, totally. This technology way it's moving, and you take a look at someone in that super saloon class in particular, that kind of introduction of that late model look from out of the States. So everything's just part of developing, I would guess, going forward, as you can see just with some of the makeup of the cars these days. So heaps going around. So there's plenty going around. Jason Anderton, where do you see the future stock car supers heading in the future in your mind? Alan, where do you see it going forward? Just the way the creation is, and some of these cars these days that don't have a full body. You talked about the Ford Y back in the day and so forth. It's just so changing. It's evolving.
I don't like the panels. I like the fact that
Okay.
they still look like a car. Maybe in some ways, I think the likes of a mini stock should have to run a body. I think that maybe a stock car should have to run a body, and maybe a super stock doesn't have to run a body. So then it might help people identify. But the rule got removed. It was supposed to have a body that a fiberglass or whatever on it that looked like or resembled something. And I just don't like. I personally, I don't like all the panels, but I can understand if the rule's not there, then why they put them on, because the vision that you get out of those panel cars and the other bits and pieces, or if you roll and then it's only a panel that needs to be done, not a whole body that's been crumpled and broken. But hey, look, the way that Pete, he pumps those things out, and the simplicity of being able to get a car that's, can compete as like they do, compared to say like what, like the T-Mac chassis, or the back in the day the Gorges, or probably need these days, what Jamie Hamilton's pumping out. The technology that's going into those. At this stage, our tyres are only so wide. Our engines are just about, we're getting everything out of our engines. So now we've got to get the chassis development and the setup and everything. And if you get that absolutely perfect, then you'll be untouchable.
Yeah. Okay, so Muddy Goodley, he's always typing in a good question. I think one of Alan's best races was the Repocharge win at the New Zealand and Wallies. That was a mean win.
Yeah, I got to admit, Brian Musgrove helped me set my car up, and he made it really, really soft. And I just went out there, and I don't know, I was in the right zone. And at the end of the day, that would probably, we talked about highlights. I've sort of maybe forgotten about that one. That's probably the only one I've ever cried. So maybe that was quite a big highlight to actually be talking to Minty with tears rolling down your eyes. And, I suppose when I think about the emotions and the feeling that go with that, I think, that's probably, as far as I was concerned, I'd already won. The moment I qualified for those New Zealand champs, I'd won. I didn't really care what happened after that. I could have got rolled in all 3 races, and I still would have had a smile on my face.
Oh, totally qualifying in some of these big meets these days, and you take a look at these modern times, mate, everyone's up there and anything can bloody happen on the night as well. So, when you get there, Jason Adlington, sponsors must be awesome in the Levine camp, eh? Also, must be just amazing. Sponsors are an integral part of motorsports.
Oh, and a lot of our sponsors now are actually almost lifetime friends. They're there because they don't have to be there, but they're there because they want to support us and what they do for us, and the money that they give us, that makes it. Or sometimes it's just product, or like Action Tires, they just keep my bus's wheels going round and round. So it's they're important people.
Wicked. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right there as well. Steel bodies and flat chassis, eh? Sounds pretty cool there, Krusty. Steel bodies and flat chassis. Here's a question for you. Here's the question for you. You'll guess who this is. You'll know straight away. Has anyone seen Keith Gill since Saturday? Tell him. You know where
No,
that's
probably
come
not.
from.
Yeah, it's probably come from my wife.
It is.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, where we're up to? He's supposed to be coming down here on Friday, so he's got to come down and help us get the cars ready for the weekend. So he normally comes down on the Friday, and then he gets a nice warm bed and a feed, so we know that he's got heaps of energy for the weekend.
That's good, is. Hey, your car, you're talking about 16, just about into the season here. Your car, you still got it from when you got it. That T-Mac chassis stuff and area, when you take a look at the Silver Bullet, still going today. Bloody good cars back in the day and still going strong today.
Oh, yeah. I remember when the only reason I wanted one of those cars is I remember watching Graham Gaskin when he got 2NZ back in the day before you're allowed to put numbers on your doors. And Graham got put up the wall, run around the wall, come back down again, and had the independent front end in that car. And I always looked at that and thought, if you'd had a beam, you would have been buggered. Your steering would have been bent and twisted. But because when he went up the wall, it just damaged one wheel. The other one was still working mint. He managed to carry on around. And I went, nah, this is the way to go. Independent all day long. So
love it.
that's it. And I've just loved those cars ever since then.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. That's good to know. Good to hear as well. So keep these questions coming in. We've got some great prizes to be won throughout the show. We are Cockpit Media Wednesdays every Wednesday night, 7:30. We go live with so many guests, wonderful guests, just like Allen, who joins us as well. And it's just about sharing a bit about their life and the love and passion they have for the motorsport, whatever it may be and what they do. We've got plenty more guests we're going to catch up with us for weeks to come. So looking forward to speaking to so many guests. And the boys, mate, let's quickly talk about the boys. Look, the boys have been into it. It's in the genes, obviously. And, man, they've got some big futures ahead of themselves.
Oh, yeah. The boys have, I reckon, they'd been amping to go racing from the day they could hear the day their ears were developed inside their mother's stomach. You know, I reckon they were just hanging in there. We used to practice them learning to drive when they were 8 or 9, putting the utes away in the shed. We're working on the cars, and we'd all laugh when they stalled. And I think to this day, the day that Keegan turned 12, we were racing out of Wanganui at the time, and Moongoon jacked up for us to go to Wanganui, and we took the car on the infield there, and Keegan just started going round and round and round. And each time I wanted to go a bit deeper, so I take another step deeper. No, you're not allowed to lift till you get to me. No, you can't lift till you get to me. And then that's how he got going. And I think he's a March birthday, so he sort of got teased a little bit, and that was the end of his he had to wait all winter. And then for Ethan, he went to driver training with Keith McPhee, and I think Keith said he's one of the very few. We took him up there with the car. He backed it all off the trailer, and Keith goes, now go drive around out in the car park. So he drives around the car park 2 or 3 times on the circuit, and then he comes back, and Keith says, what did you stop for? He says, I'm bored. What else you got we can do? And he goes, I'll go do this and do some stops and some starts and bits and pieces. Comes back after 5 minutes. What? He goes, well, now what? I'm bored. Keith goes, well, looks like you're ready to go on the track. And apparently he's one of the first that back then that Keith says the same day he turned up for driver training, he got to go and race the car around and around on the track.
Wow.
So
wow.
They were at 12, but they were both the same. The day they turned 16, Keegan, the day he turned 16, he says, I've retired from mini stock racing. And actually on his 16th birthday was also a Saturday, and he jumped in the stock car and he drove that on his 16th birthday, and he raced from the back and he won the race. And Ethan obviously finished the year. He's a July baby, so he finished his season, and then he was 16, and then he basically jumped into the stock car straight away when he was 16 as well. They both didn't carry on until his 17th birthday. They were just bored with it, ready to go and crash and hit shit.
I love it. All right, love it. Yeah.
I get the same buzz from watching them race as what I get when I drive myself. So yeah, I tell you,
yeah, that's awesome. I can tell. I can just tell the way you're talking, how proud you are of your family and all the family. You talk about the boys, but all the family. Mel Britton, we love you, GA. Thank you for your support from Ellen's Grandies, best granddad ever. That pretty well sums up. That pretty well sums up what you've just discussed there as well. Around the love you have for it, and it just shows. It's passion. One word wraps you up, mate. It's passion. Have you raced every track here in New Zealand? Dave Thomas asks. Have you raced all the tracks in New Zealand? Most of them.
I've done bar any of the tracks of the further north in Auckland, I've pretty much done all of the North Island tracks and
Yeah.
South Island, Blenheim, Nelson, Christchurch, Greymouth. Need to go on a Rees tour or something so I can get some of those ones further down. I've been to Cromwell, but I haven't really been to the others. I need to, it'd be quite cool, I suppose, to go and do something like that and get the rest of those tracks, cross them off.
Maybe join the Rees tour next year, so we'll see what happens and see how things work. Your lovely wife, Sue's been posting some comments. Have you ever put your wife in the stock car? Has she ever had a drive?
Not. I think we put her in there to do a parade or bits and pieces. Not in my time, but I think in her, maybe she might have raced a car once or twice back in her early Huntley days with other partners.
Okay. So that's that one. Rules, Andrew Campbell. Are there any racing rules that you don't like?
Red lights.
Red lights, there you go.
Thumbs
Answered
down.
it pretty well. Thumbs down.
Red lights wreck races. And I reckon everyone's gloves should have no fingers in them. They only have no thumbs, only fingers, so no one can go thumbs down.
Mate, I love the humor. Love it. Just love it. Look, and it's just clicked over 8:30. What's going to be happening in the off season, Alan, for the motorsport team? What's happening?
Well, this year, the off season, because it's been such a short season, the supers haven't done a lot. So a little bit of steelwork, a side rail, and some dummy bumpers. But it's all about getting these TVR/Rover engines up and running and getting the boys out in the stock cars.
Awesome, mate. Well, I wish you all the best with that. Yeah, no, that's cool.
What I'm going to do.
Yeah, look, you're a legend from way back, always willing to help everyone. Some of my best years in Speedway have been crewing with Al and the family, Ed Dickinson.
Oh, cheers, Eddie. Thank you. Eddie will be on his way this weekend down to Oxford with his boy in the mini stock down to Oxford.
And he said, bring back the Mo as well. You got to bring the Mo back. Mate, I can't go any further than some of the wonderful comments that have come into tonight's show. They're pretty well wrapped it all up. You are a true legend within yourself, but the passion and the pride and the love you have for Speedway from way back in the 80s, late 80s through to today, and even going forward, it's just a big family, and that's what it is to you. And you just love it. You just love it, For someone from where you live down in Wellington up to Auckland and do what you do and go back down and do what you do week in and week out. And you said to me, one of your comments, what do you do aside from Speedway? And that you said to get in there and fix the bloody things. It's in your blood, mate. It's in your blood. You just love it. It's a passion. It's a real passion.
Yeah, it's probably a slice between passion and addiction. But I suppose hopefully one day I might be able to sell everything and have no addiction. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. I go to bed thinking about it and I wake up thinking about it. It's like, what can we do? Where can we go? So
mate,
it's cool.
You're right, Dave. And now it goes fast. It goes real quick when you're having a lot of fun and chewing the fat with someone like Alan, and you have a good laugh and sharing these wonderful comments. And out of your wonderful comments, we are going to announce a winner of the wonderful hoodie. Just show up your hoodie again, please, Alan.
I'll put the front up this time.
All right, so we're going to get Alan to hang around and help us pick a winner to win that. That's a size large. Also, thanks to Aaron Vince Garrett 16 for their wonderful prize for us to give away as well. And later on this evening, just keep an eye on the cockpit page. We'll hopefully tag you in there as well, and you'll get picked up as one of the lucky winners of the hoodie. So, Alan, I'll get you to hang around, mate. To make the announcement for that as well, and we'll draw someone out of that. But shall we sell the cars and retire, Alan? I'll leave the last comment to your lovely wife, Sue. Shall we sell the cars and retire?
Oh no, because when you can retire when you're dead. No, I'm not retiring. I got no desire.
Shane said he'll see it.
Hey, if we sell them, then what will we do? She thinks we'll go traveling around the world. I'll get bored with that after a while.
Mate, Shane said he'll see you in the shed tomorrow. Krusty, it is a pleasure actually talking to Alan. I'm going to wrap it up there. Craig Booker's going to join us in just for a little chat before we go. But Alan, just hang in there with us for a few minutes, mate, to do the draw. But I do say thank you very much on behalf of everyone who's posted comments, all our viewers, and on behalf of Cockpit Media. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm actually bloody excited that I caught up with you, because when we caught up a couple of weeks when you spoke alongside with your sons, I just noticed then just the closeness you have with your boys getting prepared for the big event in Palmy. But I was just amped, actually, because you're a bloody good guy, mate. You're a genuine guy. You say how it is. And it's just a passion. You can feel the energy just from feeding off you, but you have with Speedway, mate. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. So there we go. Run that to Allen Levien. That wraps us up. Craig Booker's back with us. What an awesome guy. Passion. Passion sums it up. He just loves it. Yeah, being Austin Kapai, mate. Thank you for that. Thanks for all those comments. And awesome, mate, Booker. Craig, he's... Yeah. No. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. You know, the Levine names are going to be around for a long time. Oh, okay. All right. So
There we go.
just
So
a
there we go.
heads
Got
up.
sound now, I bet.
Yeah. So what me and Craig were just talking about the family
Yeah.
side of things, the passion Ellen
Yeah.
has, and the Levine name. We know it's going to be around for a long time now, so it's all good. Craig, mate, thanks to Garage 16 for the
Oh,
wonderful prize.
Awesome. Awesome prize. And I'll tell you what, how awesome is it? I'm going to repeat what I said before to people, kids, because they missed it with me being muted. I know I'm not muted now. I can see the green bar working to the right-hand side. What I said before, people, was you can see the passion in Ethan and Keegan when you see how passionate that Ellen is, you know, and how great it is to see families bonding like that and racing, and the other kids coming through with their parents. You've got the Reeds kids coming through. You've got, there's just so many in there, kids, you know, always coming through, and it's great to see that family thing of Speedway staying. So that's what I did say, guys, before. You've all told me I had no audio, but I'd say it's there now because I can see it working.
Yeah,
so
it is, yeah. No one's commented.
yeah.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, it was an awesome night, and yeah, just great to have Ellen on, and thanks to the Ellen and Sue giving us that awesome
Hoodie.
prize just out of the blue to give away. So that's fantastic as well, that hoodie. So we'll get Ellen to help us pick someone for that. And of course, we can't thank our Garage 16 guys enough for everything they do for us. So many prizes each week they've had to we've given away for them. Yeah, it's unfortunate we only go for an hour tonight because I think Ellen had a lot more to say and people wanted to hear more from him, didn't they?
Well, who knows? You know, look, watch out, keep an eye. In time to come, there could be a part two.
Well, that's
we
right
could
too. We
talk
might have to
about.
get the three of them on together, and they can hold Mum in there as well, so she has to talk.
Yeah, exactly. Do a big family thing. Look, and that's what we would like to encourage too. You know, these family motorsport names we made mention of, like you just said, the Rees family and the Levine family. There is an abundance of family. We talked about the Ty family, and like Alice said, Rod, and then the grandchild. Yeah, the Taniwha family. You've got the Super Saloon family, the Halgroves.
Oh,
you know, the list just goes on.
Yeah.
So it'll be great. Yeah, thanks, Troy. Thanks, mate. Another great show. Yeah. No, we enjoy it, mate. We enjoy keeping you entertained, getting to know these drivers that we speak with. I know Alan's just sitting there in the background wanting to help us out with stuff, but I do appreciate everyone's time. Don't forget to Sunday, we're up there in Big Auckland, Super Saloon E-Series, build up at 8:15, and we're back again on Wednesday on Cockpit Media.
Yes.
Again, appreciate Garage 16, the Levine family with their prizes, and especially you, all the fans, who keep the questions rolling in. And of course, keeping us wanting to do the show that we bring you every Wednesday. Craig and myself, we just love the show, love talking to all these drivers, and appreciate all the comments. Be safe out there. Enjoy yourself. Take care, everyone. And we'll catch you back next Wednesday with me and, of course, Craig on Sunday, bringing you and commentating the E-Series, the Super Saloon Series. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, mate. Be safe, everyone.
G16 Sport, a new platform for Speedway fans. Hundreds of videos, the latest action on demand and free to view. Plus, the Speedway show, Dishing the Dirt. Check out the pay-per-view section for upcoming live streams. Browse Speedway merch and other awesome items in the online shop. Join G16 Nation. Scroll through your newsfeed, post photos and videos, join groups, and connect with the Dirt community. Visit g16sports.co.nz today.